Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Artist Works Dispatch from Home. We are live this evening with truly one of the greatest Nashville country electric guitar players I know, and he's truly my favorite. And that is Guthrie Trapp, and he is joined by his friend Patrick Sweany today. And this is really going to be great because they're in the same room together, so they're going to be able to play and sing together, taking all precautions that need to be taken to be safe in this COVID environment. So I am the CEO and co-founder of Artist Works, and if you don't know who we are an online music instruction company, and we work with 37 world-renowned musicians just like Guthrie Trapp. And they've come into our studios here in Napa, California to record pretty much everything they know. So that means that you can learn pretty much anything you want to at Artist Works. And what's kind of unique about Artist Works is you can send a video to the teacher and then they will respond with a recorded video to give you some guidance. And you can see everybody else's video exchanges as well. So we've been doing some of these live dispatches from home ever since the middle of March. So this is our 6-month anniversary, maybe we could call it. And we're happy to just bring a little bit of a musical oasis into your home and hope that you are ready with some questions. And also ready to listen to some great music. And so I am going to now introduce you to Guthrie Trapp and Patrick Sweany, and they're going to play.
All right, here we go. Thank you so much.
That's easy. We're going to do an old Jimmy Witherspoon number called Money's Getting Cheaper in G, and it has a 625 thing at the
Okay.
Money getting cheaper, price getting steeper. Got myself a woman, but I just can't keep her. Time's getting tough and tough. Things getting tougher than tough. I make a lot of money, honey, just keep spending that stuff. Pork chops are offered as the butcher for a pound. Couldn't buy pork chop when I laid my money down. Time's getting tougher than tough. Things getting rougher than rough. Make a lot of money, honey, just keep spending that stuff. Get it again, man. Give it. Politicians telling folks to cut down on the meat. Why don't they cut the prices, let the people leave? Time's getting tougher than tough. Things getting rougher than rough. I make a lot of money, honey, just keep spending that stuff. Yeah, I can't afford to live, guess I have to try. Undertaker's got a union loan that costs too much to die. Time getting tougher than tough. Things getting rougher than rough. I make a lot of money, honey. Just keep selling that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, money getting cheaper, baby, price getting steeper. Got myself a woman, but I just can't keep her. Time getting tougher than tough. Things getting rougher than rough. I make a lot of money, honey. Just keep spending that stuff.
Okay. Awesome.
Right on.
There's. Let me change the thing here.
Thank you so much for that, Guthrie. That was really great. And it's unusual for me to hear you playing the acoustic guitar, but it's really
know, right?
wonderful. I know, but he plays like a
thanks.
million instruments.
No extra charge for mistakes.
Yeah. I stand by that policy.
You know, the cool thing about that kind of tune is such a cool. It's based on a blues progression, but you can always throw in the little swing changes. You know, the 1, 6, 2, 5, and all the turnarounds and extended stuff. But you know, it's so funny. Like, you know, we didn't work any of this out. Patrick's a friend of mine. He lives up the street. Over, we sit down and play a couple of tunes. But
Do this all the time.
there's a bunch of different directions. It's kind of like a bluegrass song. It's a similar language, but you never know where the ending's going to go on a tune like that. You can do so many different ones, which is really cool.
Very
You can
cool.
end it like Pat did, you know, when you're coming up to the 5 and ending. You could go 1 to the 6 to the 2, 5. You could do the turnaround. You could do.
The bassy. I love the bassy turnaround.
Yeah, there's so many different ways you can do that. I love playing that kind of music because it's based on a traditional progression, but there's a lot of different ways you can interpret it.
Well, Guthrie, right out of the gate, you're teaching us something, and I love that.
Well, you know.
That's wonderful. So for those of you,
Somebody write it down so I can check it later.
yeah, that's right. Let's take notes, Patrick. Let's take notes. He's such a great teacher. But actually, Guthrie, would you please tell us a little bit about the bandit to your left there? Let's learn more about Patrick.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah. Where's the
Pew pew.
So yeah, if you can't see this right now, but there, yeah, I'll do this. I've got the blanket is
Oh yeah, let's see
up,
it.
so it's
There
not
we
in the
go.
video, but my cow horns are, so, you know, we got a theme going here, folks. We got a theme going.
But ain't that
That's great.
But this
So
is my
tell us
good
about
buddy,
Patrick. Yeah.
This is my good buddy Patrick Sweany. I've known him for a long time here in Nashville, and he's a great singer songwriter and you know, curator of the blues and American roots music, and he's got his own, you know, solo career that's been going for a long time, tons of records, and movie placements and all kinds of stuff. You've heard his music all over the place. So that's the quick introduction. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about where he's from and all that.
Well, right, yeah, and that, I mean, Guthrie really covered. I mean, I have I've had a pretty long career as a songwriter and performer, and but I've always had just such a real affinity and real love for the blues, and it always felt like the most natural music for me to gravitate to. So that informs a lot of what I do. And growing up of playing, if I play fingerstyle guitar, I use a thumb pick and two metal finger picks. That's the only way I play. But so I sort of informed that kind of, I guess what you'd call an archaic kind of blues thing, sort of over the more modern music that I might do in my career as an artist. But I also have a little side band called the Tiger Beats, where we do absolutely straight up tone wise, gear wise, basically the Chess Records era blues and things like Duke and Be Like People like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and Bobby Blue Bland, and so like Junior Parker and those sort of things, really swinging sort of pre-rock and roll blues. And that's really been a great exercise to be able to do that and to be able to really play this music, where it's a lot different than rock and roll showiness. Everything is very small and very compartmentalized, which I think is just such a great training for just, like hitting foul shots. You're always going to need to nail foul shots, and just playing a shuffle at the right tempo and the right groove is so important, that if that's all you do all night, boy, it really means a lot. And that's why I love that music so much. Mm-hmm. I guess I went a little long.
Yeah, no, and to Pat's point, Patricia, we've talked about this before with Keith Wyatt on the show, and so
like the show,
the big show,
The big show.
and so yeah.
I love this show.
So
they said there's no business like show business.
Right, and quit show business.
You guys asked for this. I'm saying.
Yeah, well, actually, I didn't.
I'll laugh.
It's like
if you would please continue.
It's like the guy working at the circus. The guy takes his son to the circus, and he takes him, and he's walking around, and the kid wants to see the elephants, and the kid and the guy's back there shoveling the elephant manure, and the guy walks up to him and he goes, "Dude, of all the jobs you could have in the world, you're doing this." And he goes, wouldn't you strive to do something better or at least a little different? And the guy looks up at him and goes, "And quit show business?" But to Patrick's point about the shuffle is, and I always preach this too, no matter what genre that I'm teaching, whether it's any American roots music and beyond. If you can't play a good shuffle, you really need to learn how to play a great shuffle. And really, the blues in general is going to be it's the foundation for any other American roots music. I mean, any country guitar that I play, or funk, or R&B, soul, any of that stuff, jazz, of course. If you don't have a good foundation in the blues, then your feel for those other musics is not gonna be as deep rooted as some people that spend some time really learning and getting inside the blues.
Sure, that's
and learning the swing feel is so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That shuffle feel. So, would you like us to play another tune?
I really would, and let me just say one thing before that. I would love to have you play something else. A lot of people are sort of signing in from different places in the world and around the United States. And as you know firsthand, Guthrie, there's just a lot of natural disasters happening from Portland to Ashland to the down south with the hurricane and out here with the fires. And so I just wanted to reiterate to those of you who are joining us, we really do want to be a little bit of a respite for you, a little refuge. And so today we might play a little bit more than talk, just so that we have something enjoyable to experience. And I'm just going to encourage you to tell us where you're from, and we're going to put a couple of these up on the screen once Guthrie and Patrick have played another tune for us. So welcome everyone, and I hope that you enjoy the next little bit of time with us and appreciate some of the music Guthrie and Patrick are going to make for us.
Yeah, thanks for making that point, Tricia. You know, my heart goes out to everybody that's just having a hard time with the natural disasters. My family just had a direct hit down on the Gulf Coast with the hurricane. It came literally right over where they live, and for the first time in over 40 years down there, we've ridden out all these hurricanes. Of course, I'm in Nashville, but they didn't think that storm was going to be as bad as it was, you know, due to the way that it just sat there and grew and all that and went right up to Perdido Bay. But, you know, for the first time ever, they had damage to their house. 2 skylights blew off the top of the roof.
Wow.
You know, they're in these oak trees, and there was tornadoes and all this stuff. The French doors blew in. Double doors blew in and blew down, and they were terrified out there. I mean, my friend that I went to school with down there, they said they've never seen anything like it. They'll never ride out another one. It was terrifying. And the reason why they didn't leave is because it did not look like that storm was going to be that bad. And so, you know, between the hurricanes down there on the Gulf Coast and all our friends in New Orleans and all along the Mississippi Gulf Coast and Alabama and Florida, and then the fires where you guys are at, I mean, you know, it's a lot for us to take as human beings to go through this. And it's just, it just goes to show you, you know, you can be pummeled and pummeled and pummeled and still survive this. I mean, we're strong. As human beings, we're strong. We're resilient. We take it day to day, and we just can't let ourselves get overwhelmed by this stuff, and we got to fight through it.
Oh, thank you, Guthrie. Well, I appreciate that. It's encouraging to hear that from you, and I'm happy to hear some blues.
Okay, well, let's do it.
All right.
Hey, 'tis the season.
We got to do the thing.
Okay, I got to do the thing. All right.
E, you reckon?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's great. The people's key.
The people's key. All right.
All right.
Oh, baby, won't you ride with me tonight? Real pretty baby. I wanna ride with you tonight. I wanna ride with you, mama, while the moon is shining bright. Oh, baby, don't you like my automobile? Real pretty baby. Don't you like my automobile? But I wanna ride with you, darling. Know how good it made me feel. Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, baby, won't you ride with me tonight? Real pretty baby. Oh, won't you ride with me tonight? I wanna ride with you, darling, while the moon is shining bright. Oh, baby, won't you ride my automobile? Real pretty baby. Won't you ride my automobile? I want to ride with you, darling. Know how good it made me feel. Yeah, man. Won't you ride with me tonight? Real, 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 real pretty baby. Won't you ride with me tonight? I want you to ride with me, daddy, while the moon is shining bright. Take it one more time. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Real, real, real pretty baby. Well, all right.
All right, all right, back to the other setting here.
That was great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. And I have to say, Patrick, I absolutely love your voice. It's
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I
love it. It's meaty. It's a little bit raw, but I really, it's dirty when you want it to be. I really like to hear you sing. I really enjoy it. I've never heard you sing before, I'm sorry to say, but we'll have to have you back.
Oh, man, I would love to. That's something about this kind of music too. I mean, it always is. It's like we always forget that, when we try to excel on our instrument and to focus on our instrument, that, we are, it doesn't mean a thing by itself, and that we're all supporting songs, and that's the thing, is that the one unifying thing is the song. And, in blues music, vocal music. So there's this component there. And I like to kind of try to, within my abilities, I try to concentrate as much as I would on guitar tone as I would on vocal tone, and the way to approach and studying singers like I would. Like that tune was a little Junior Parker tune.
Yeah.
And he has one of the smoothest voices, but he's straight out of the Mississippi Delta. Played with a Houston band that was just swung like nobody's business, and had this controlled smoothness that could be so imply this rawness and energy that I just really love the way his way of singing. So I really
you did a great job. Thank you so much. And I think we'll just take a minute, Guthrie. Oh, I'm sorry, you were going to say something. I want to say hello to some folks, but what were you going to say there?
I was going to say two things. One is that, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people don't realize this, but the Mississippi Delta is actually North Mississippi. It's not South Louisiana. It's North Mississippi. People think the Delta, they think down on the coast, but it's actually North Mississippi, south of Memphis, and all the way down there. So my other thing is hey, how do you want your vocals? Medium raw.
I like that. Yeah. I agree with that. It's the way I like my steak too.
We only serve it up one way here, so we hope it's what you like.
All right, let's say hello to some folks here now. I'll put some of these up on the screen, Guthrie. So David Waldrop is just saying he's looking forward to this, and Aaron, hello. Thank you for saying hello. Dave Herzing from Treasure Lake. He's a big fan of yours, Guthrie, and a student in your school, and Keith Wyatt. Dave's a very, very loyal customer of ours, and a very enthusiastic player. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And here's Lou from Ashland, Oregon. Boy, I sure hope you're okay, Lou. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thinking of you in the fires. Indeed. And Bob McDonald from Winnipeg.
Awesome. Cheers.
And Joel, I hope you're okay as well up there in Portland. I hear it's really smoky. Yeah, I mean, this nasty. I've been there. And then we have someone joining us from the Netherlands, which is really very fun. I like it.
Hey, Wim, how you doing? I know this guy. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I mean, is anything bad happening in the Netherlands? Maybe we should all go there.
Right.
Or let's go to New Hampshire.
yeah, right.
We shouldn't say anything. We shouldn't. We're going to cast a pall on the Netherlands. Here is Sid right there in Nashville. So that's really great.
We're across the river.
All right, man.
Might as well be the Netherlands.
Yeah, right.
In this day and age, right?
Insiders like us, that is. It's like,
All right, Paul. Thank you so much.
Paul,
Appreciate it.
also hope you're doing well. And Tyus is just saying hello. He has a question. We're going to get to that soon.
Thank you, man.
And then Robert Dahlquist is from Sacramento.
Thank you.
Jacob, I'm putting these up here because so many of these people are from troubled areas. Seattle's been struggling too with all of that, craziness. And this is my sister and my dad. So hello, Barb and Dad.
hey,
guys.
Got to say hello, right? They're both in Dubai,
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Very cool.
Boise, Idaho. Mike Price, thanks for joining us.
All right.
And let's see, I think,
man, great job.
and Terry Bailey is from London, Ontario. And
Nice.
Jerry, thank you always for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Jerry was one of our big getaway winners back when we could do in-person contests.
Oh, cool.
And Susan Seyfarth is with us frequently, so I'm always happy to have her here as well.
All right.
So
Thank you so much.
Yeah, lots of people signing in, and I really appreciate that. Thanks for joining us. And I'm
Hey, hey, thank you, Debbie. We appreciate it. Just like anything.
there you go. That's good. I'm glad you caught that.
You
Glad
know,
you caught it. Okay.
I just watched Wyatt Earp again last night, so this is pretty fitting, right? This is like Don Collins and Wyatt Earp.
Chandler, Arizona, man. That's
Yeah.
Don't get much wilder west than out there, man.
That's
All
great.
right, Debbie. Well, thank you.
Okay, so we do have a question. Would it be okay if we took a question? You think that would fit in
We
right
can-
now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here's
Please.
Tyus's question. And this is for Patrick, actually. Any tips you can provide on getting those booming vocals? Like, do you have any practice techniques or listening tips? We always like to listen to the masters, but what's your tip?
Absolutely.
What's your tip, Patrick?
I mean, a lot of it is that I think listening to the old cats, like people like when you see like Muddy Waters or Lightning Hopkins, and obviously they're full grown men while they're singing, and they're they have this very this sort of this timbre of age that's on there that definitely gives that kind of rawness, but that that they all use great technique and they all use it to project and to be heard. So that's the way I learned to start singing, just taking an A note on the guitar and going as high up, matching the pitch, and just doing that and trying to get that as full as I could, and using what would normally be good vocal technique and great guitar technique as well, just sitting up straight, making sure you can breathe, you're not hunched over, everything's sort of in line. And that's been the thing, but also trying to go as low as you can go and keeping that air in your thing. And that's what we forget, because that's the flashy stuff's up top, but the groove's all on the bottom, just like on the ground, and the tone is all on the bottom. So when I listen to singers like Tony Joe White, who I think is he's a wonderful writer and great. I mean, just a really truly just original. We just lost him.
Poke Salad Andy.
Poke Salad Andy, just really funky. But the guy who covered one of his songs, Brooke Benton, has this amazing. He sang made Rainy Night in Georgia a hit. I'll do a song. I'll do like that sort of song where you're singing the low notes to sound check. It's one, it loosens everything up, but two, it also sort of sets the dynamic of where you can be and where you're sort of reach, because you can really strain and hit a high note and force a high note, but you can't. You have to be so relaxed to sing a low note, and that's something. So practicing singing low and lower pitches, I think, is what the real key to opening up. Just the tone that you're looking for, to have that sort of bottom to stand on. So because you're already relaxed, you can't force more air into your lungs to do to sing like hovering by my suitcase, trying to find getting those low pitches. If you tense up, they're gone. You can't get them, and so that's the thing. So going when you're practicing singing, just matching pitch, and one step at a time, and then going as low as you can go. And if you can hit low E, you're doing pretty
You're
good.
doing pretty good,
you know, and you can start twisting it. You can really get it. And, you know, you should definitely get some friends together and start a doo-wop group.
I like that. Well, I have to put this comment up for you, Guthrie. Guthrie, I had to put this comment up for you. Can you read that? Guthrie,
Mary
can
Trapp.
you read that?
Hey, Mary.
Joyce from the Gulf Coast. We were just endured Hurricane Sally. Love you. Thanks, Mom. Good to see you. I hope you guys are hanging in down there. I'll talk to you tomorrow for sure. Thanks.
It's probably really good for her to be able to see you, Guthrie. I know right when we were doing sound check and everything, Guthrie was frantically trying to help his parents. So I appreciate that, you know, you're worried about them, and it's good that they can reach out to you. So that's good. Could we take just another question, perhaps? And then I want to hear you guys play again. Is that okay, Guthrie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, here's another question. I tend to hold the guitar tilted back partly so I can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure if that's good, but should I be trying to hold it straight so it's facing the audience, or should he peek?
I wouldn't worry about, okay, so I wouldn't worry about facing the audience. You know, it's all about what's comfortable to you. You know, I wouldn't say that this is a good technique. No, I'd say try to, you know, this is going to be your most efficient technique. And just from time, you're going to not be needing to look at the fingerboard. You know, I mean, you know, that's a tough one. I mean, with things like that, it's so personal that I think whatever's the most comfortable for you. Now, and like I said, I mean, if you're going to be playing a lot of intricate, you know, fast single note solos and stuff like that, I don't think that this is going to serve you well to be playing like this. I think you need to get the guitar anchored where I'm putting it on my right knee. And you know, sometimes I'll play like this. Sometimes I'll play like the kind of classical way. It's a lot of times it's comfortable with a small body guitar, but a lot of times I'm anchoring this thing with my you know, under my arm here. And then this is just, my right hand is just floating, you know. That's all coming from here, my wrist. It's not, I'm not doing this or anything like that. But yeah, be careful about that. Don't get too crazy with this kind of stuff, because to me, I feel like the guitar is going to fall if I do that, you know. So that's 2 cents on that. Yeah.
I'm kind of with Guthrie. You know, I definitely think if, like, when I stand, I'll tend to rock the guitar back, depending on playing a larger guitar, just so I can get, if I'm playing more intricate stuff. But it's really mostly based on keeping these tendons straight and having, you know, so when I'm finger picking the guitar, you know, all this is really relaxed, really straight. You know, when I'm playing notes here, this is really straight. When I'm sitting down, I'm going to be right here, because I'm taking all the whole thing in the control of the guitar right here. And then I have everything on the fretboard, you know, so there's no tension, there's none of that. And again, this arm these tendons are straight, it's relaxed. I'm using gravity to do the work, you know, trying to, and that, so yeah, I mean, obviously if you're practicing and there's something difficult you need to be focusing on, but I really think that it's more important to use good technique. So if you're here, your neck's cramped and your shoulder's cramped, that's not helping you. If you're relaxed and you're right here, man, you know, that's fantastic. If you're in class, it really is a personal
Well, one
choice.
of the things I was going to say, I've noticed with both of you, and of course I noticed the same thing with Brian Sutton, is that you guys can play really fast, but your bodies don't tense up. In fact, I think they actually loosen up a little bit. And I've certainly seen video exchanges, video submissions from students. They get, you know, they really kind of start digging in when they start playing those really fast passages. Do either of you have some suggestions for guitar players to keep that relaxed kind of flow feeling going?
Yeah, and the big answer is all this stuff is going to get better with time. I mean, there's no substitute for that. But and you're going to find your way and what's most comfortable for you, and then those will turn into your, you know, your kind of personal ways of doing all this stuff. But like to go back a little bit, when Patrick was playing the rhythm part and I was soloing on that song, I wasn't not looking at my fingerboard, but I was also not holding the guitar like this to see it. I'm playing like this, but I'm kind of leaning over and looking at the fingerboard from here. So I'm remaining maintaining the technique and the position, but I'm also not keeping it completely blind from me either. I want to be able to see what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as the relaxing, it's all about relaxing. I mean, if you press too hard with your left hand, you're gonna bend behind the fret and it's gonna be sharp. You're gonna go sharp. So you only need to press down with your left hand enough to get a nice clear chord, right? Right. I'm not choking that. I'm not pressing real hard. I'm not pressing so light to where you don't want that either. But with your right hand especially, this is where you definitely don't need to be playing real hard. This guitar, it's like a drum. You're only going to be able to hit it so hard, and then it starts choking. If I was to bang on this instrument, you're getting that.
You're mashing out. You lose all your tone.
What I say, and then we'll throw it to Patrick. What I like to say is, it's important to learn how to pull the tone out of an instrument. I mean, if I'm playing these single notes down here, I'm wanting to really get the full tone out of that. You'll see my right hand's moving. If I'm playing softer and I'm playing up here, I want to really get that nice, warm, fat tone out of these strings. If I start doing this, it's just, you're not getting a good result from that. So lightening up, playing with confidence and playing with authority, but still really working that right hand. And you don't want to feather it in either, but you also there's a fine line between overdoing it and underdoing it with the right hand.
I 100% agree with Guthrie. And one thing,
dynamics, right?
I wish you could hear how good that guitar sounds. I hope you can. But also,
we can.
Something that I noticed, Barry, that Guthrie does, and I've always wanted to comment on it. So I hope I'm not thinking, but like, he really uses the acoustic, but even when he plays electric guitar, but especially I noticed it him playing acoustic guitar. So when you're like playing those kind of licks like there, he's letting, because he isn't aggressively doing that, he's letting the guitar do the work. He's you'll get some sympathetic rhythm or a resonance from the other strings and these sort of these nice pleasing harmonic things that would seem accidental. I mean, I know that he's doing it on purpose because he's, spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours getting those notes to ring out the right way on that type of guitar. But I really just spent thousands and thousands of dollars so Patrick would say that.
I get it. It's a paid endorsement.
Was that Venmo?
Venmo too.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like that with that overplaying. Because honestly, as a young player, I fought a lot of tendonitis, because I was trying to play loud. I was trying to start the gig. Yeah. And that was something, and I was finger picking and just hitting it as hard as I could, playing into a microphone and started to really have problems, which really made me, and I thought, if I want to do this forever, and I've only been doing this a couple years, and I'm already, I've got, some issues, like that was really when I started to really care about and really sort of absorb how all these older players, none of them look like they make it look so easy, right? Because they are relaxed. Yeah, they are comfortable where they're at, and they're relaxed, even if they're playing something difficult. Like you said, we're sort of going for it, with Guthrie and I jamming together, but it's loosening up, allowing time to happen, allowing notes to decay and things. It really is. Gives so much more to the music. Absolutely. And the more of it, just more of the, and it buys you time to think as well. Yeah, it's just being conscious of what you're playing and dynamics for sure. But I will say this too. I think a lot of people make things harder on themselves on purpose because they think that that's the thing to do. Like, okay, I'm going to put really big strings on this guitar. Well, that those things have their place. Like if you have a really cool silver tone guitar and you have really big strings on it, flat wounds or something, yeah, that's going to be a really cool sound and stuff. But just to use heavy strings because it's like, man, don't always make this stuff harder on yourselves. Make it easy. I use light gauge acoustic strings on all these Gibson guitars I have because to me they sound really even. I'm not playing in a bluegrass band where I have to try to play over a banjo. So
I want to play like, I want to have, not really light gauge flappy strings on here, but I use like a 12 through it's like a 54 or 56 or something, but regular D'Addario light gauge acoustic strings. And to me, that just, it doesn't put a lot of extra pressure on the neck. I use like a medium or a medium to heavy Fender style pick, use the round edge. I mean, these are things that, I see guys coming all the time with these really expensive, super heavy, super thick picks with no give, and they sound bad. They sound like a pick. It sounds like you're hearing the pick and not the guitar and the string. So there's a lot of these little things that that I have opinions on because I'm hearing it all. I hear it all the time. I see guys come in with the jazz picks with the really sharp, red pointed edge, and they sound terrible because you're hearing the harshness of that material and that pick. And it's all about, you want this. These are just tools to get the sound out of this. So you want to hear the tone of the instrument and not the things that are supplying you with the volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
That's great advice. I just wondered if we could just briefly get a response, though, from you, Guthrie. What is the difference in electric and acoustic guitar? Well, let me ask it this way. How do you get that light touch on electric versus acoustic? What's the difference?
I think the approach is the same. You're just wanting to ultimately be able to play with dynamics. And so, even though they're two completely different things, the approach is the same. You still want to have a really light touch. That's the only way you're going to be able to play fast, is to develop a nice, a very relaxed approach on your right and left hand. And so the thing about it is, to me, is, the same things that I'm concerned about on the acoustic guitar, I'm concerned about on the electric. It's just amplified. It's a little bit more of a wild animal. And so that you're trying to tame. And so with this, I also, when I'm playing up the neck, I'm also conscious of other notes ringing out. I'm trying to mute with my right and left hand and make sure that everything is, the notes that I want to speak are speaking, and the ones that I want to hold back are being in it. Most of the time, because I've been doing this for a long time, they're inadvertently muted, almost without me thinking about it. Because, I know what kind of, my hand just kind of goes there to mute the strings that I don't want to ring out. But when you're with an electric guitar and you're turned up at stage volume, full festival conditions, we call it, you're plugged into a really loud amp. You've got this guitar. It's like, oh my God, it's, every little thing I'm doing is amplified, so you got to really be conscious of muting with your right and your left hand to control that instrument and keep it from sounding bombastic and out of control. You're playing the guitar's not playing you,
Right. That left hand muting as well is so underrated too, really.
Right.
Because even that, as as a younger player, that was something an older player had taught me, and I noticed about that, who wasn't a very skillful player, was a very raw, very kind of, he had this really kind of almost chaotic kind of guitar style. But I realized he just got rid of anything that wasn't what he wanted, and he was doing so much muting here. So we played these just incredible sort of, small phrase things, just howling, microphonic pickups and a wild ass tone, and that's still having it completely under control.
Right. Well, that's a great point, because, and another thing too, that with everything that I teach, literally from how to hold the pick to everything that I've learned in my life about the guitar, the big umbrella over all of it is, it all comes down to the music and the song that you're playing. Because, all these techniques of playing really subtle and really dynamic and all that kind of stuff, okay, that's great if it fits the song. But if you're playing, hard rock or punk rock or any, some of those other genres of music that I haven't spent as much time playing, it's okay. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to hit the guitar hard. I mean, man, when I'm in full battle mode and I'm on a gig and man, the energy calls, and I'm digging in and
windmill,
and
baby.
Turning up and going crazy.
I'm all about it.
But it all comes down to when to do that and when not to do that. It's taste and dynamics and knowing how to play music. What song determines this? What song determines that?
Yeah, well,
I
I
mean,
love your full battle mode. That's great.
Yeah,
Guthrie,
full
battle mode.
well, if you're a guitarist or a bassist or a drummer in a punk rock band, and your job is to provide this relentless energy, and excitement, then that's not gonna cut it.
That's not going to work.
You're gonna need to do it, and so it all depends on the genre, and it really comes down to the song,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would love to hear another song.
Okay,
all right.
Little Muddy What? Now we have to mute Guthrie while he makes a little bit of a change there. So while he does that, I'll just remind everybody there's a banner scrolling across the bottom. You're welcome to take advantage of a 25% discount. Or if you like, you can get free lessons. Go to artistworks.com/free lessons. And you can learn with the likes of Guthrie Trapp and about 36 other people as well. I know we have a lot of the students here, and thank you for joining us. And I think you're having a good time. If you weren't, maybe you wouldn't be here. So thanks for joining us. I recognize a lot of you, and I'm glad that you're here, as well as those who are not our students. You're all welcome. So Guthrie is going to play something now with Patrick, and I'll let him tell you what that's going to be.
Well, yeah, we're going to do one of our favorite Tom T. Hall songs. Tom T. Hall is a country singer and songwriter. It's one of our favorites, and but he wrote this song. I had heard Solomon Burke cover it, and it just blew my mind again. And people like Buddy Miller, and there's not really a bad version of it out there, but this one we always like to jam on, and that's how I got to Memphis. Let's do the 2-5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If you love somebody enough, well, you follow wherever they go. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. If you love somebody enough, well, you go where your heart tells you to go. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. Well, I know you tell me if you'd seen her, you are my friend. I gotta find her, find out all the trouble she in. I haven't eaten a bite or slept for 3 days and nights. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. Go ahead. Thank you for your precious time. Oh, forgive me if I start crying. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. Well, she used to get mad and say, well, she gone back to Memphis someday. Well, that's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis.
I know you tell me it's seen her, you are my friend. I gotta find her, Lord, and find out the trouble she's in. Love somebody enough, follow wherever they go. That's how I got to Memphis. 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 Ooh, Lord, that's how I got there. Lord. Oh, Lord. I'm gonna find that woman. Lord, Lord, I can't sleep. Lord, I'm walking the streets and Lord, I'm crying. Lord, Lord, oh Lord, Lord, where can't you be, Lord? Lord, where can't she be? Ooh, Lord. Lord. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis. That's how I got to Memphis.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I love playing that song.
Me too.
I really do.
Hey, here's the thing I was thinking about earlier when he said that song title is, you know, and the different versions and the different people that have done it, you know, think about this. If it's a great song, you can do it in any different way you want. You can do that song as a reggae song. You can do it as an R&B song. You can do it as a country song. Any really good song you can do in any kind of way you want, and it still is a great song.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's something as Guthrie and I, as we've sort of developed our kind of relationship together. A lot of it is based on one of us showing up at the other one's gig and just going for it and trying to find that kind of common ground, depending on the and also with the players that are with there, that you know, and their strengths and their kind of things and things like that, like. Like we do these things like say a song like "Further On Up the Road," very famous song. Eric Clapton made it you know, very well known. You know, it's a Bobby Bland number. I sing it a lot. But that's another song that, you know, like, you know, Clapton's version, different version, vocal melody, the tenets of it are the same. Bobby Bland's version, you know, is the one.
Right.
It has these strong things. When I go sit in with somebody, depending on who Guthrie's got playing in, we'll play "Further On the Road," but we'll do it with the funk beat, like
right,
depending on who's there. Further on up the road, that kind of thing of where, and having those things and being able to sort of, you keep these sort of foundations and these groove things and these where the rhythm sits, that you can. It just gives you such a wider palette when you put that across different grooves.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a weak song in your set list when if you've been doing this for a long time. And I think what Patrick's saying too is what I think about is, okay, you know, a lot of times I'll go play a gig and literally every song for 2 or 3 hours is a blast to play. You got some guys like Sean Camp that write these amazing songs. You're going from blues to country to rockabilly, all these different fields, right? And so you can play a blues gig for 2 hours. That doesn't mean you have to do this all night long. So there's all these different amazing ways to change these things up and make them more exciting and you know, not necessarily, you know, to argue the point of making them better, but to me they take on a new life and they're a little bit fresher and more exciting to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, all the old guys when they got electric guitars as soon as they possibly could. Like every single of our guitar heroes who went from the acoustic to the electric. Right. You know, and that's the wonderful thing about blues,
there was room
for update. There's room for innovation because you have these solid building blocks of you can do anything with.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Black Sabbath swings so hard. Those first few records are you could play all those instruments with like big bands, like saxophones and trumpets, you know, and that kind of thing. And that is because there's that huge blues foundation there of that space and that rhythm and the swing to it.
Right, absolutely.
Which is, you know, arguably the heaviest, hardest music that ever was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Motorhead. I mean, Lemmy did nothing but listen to rock and roll records. Loved Buddy Holly. Like, and every one of those songs is, you know, Motorhead. It's all coming out of right there. Eddie Cochran. You know, which is coming right out of the blues.
Exactly. Yeah. Stuff, folks. I hope you're digging this. We as my buddy.
I hope so.
As my buddy Uncle Larry says, you know, we're always searching for stuff that's rich in musical nutrients, which is one of my favorite terms.
Musical nutrients. I like that.
Can you click your button
We
there?
can do the thing.
Yes.
We have a technical issue. We have to change.
That's my
Guthrie's
fault. You know,
has to
I'm
make a little change.
I'm
That's okay. I was happy to hear
Yeah,
the
there's some
car.
train. Yeah, the train's going by. Of course, you know.
I thought I heard a train.
Yeah,
I thought I heard a
it
train.
helps this whole music thing if you live close
I
to
have it
the
on a
train
loop.
track.
I have it on a loop that sort of brings ambiance and like authenticity around me. Being blues, so there'll be every 4.5 minutes you'll hear a train noise whenever you're. It's an app.
I appreciate all the commentary. Sorry, what got
Hey,
that?
real quick, one quick thing, Patricia. I was gonna say. So this is a little technical thing. Is
Okay.
you know, on that song, we're playing that last song in the key of E, right?
Okay.
It's got obviously the vibe of it is very cool and nice melody and all that stuff. When we go to the 2 minor, you can play F sharp minor, just a straight F sharp minor chord. But sometimes it's fun to color that chord. A lot of times I'll play an F sharp minor and I'll use my thumb, and then with my little finger I'm playing the 9 on top of that. It works nice going to the 4 chord, you know, because you're here, and then it works harmonically nice. But there's also another way to play this chord where I'll play the F sharp minor, but I'll leave the B open, which gives you this really beautiful. I'm messing it up, but hold on a second. So here's where it goes. Just a very cool. Keeping some of the, like he's holding down the more kind of traditional voices,
Right.
and then I'm doing some kind of a little bit more open, trying to stay out of. So if he's doing this, kind of more of the low, keeping the bass going, I'm going to kind of lighten up on those bass notes and play more of these upper extensions. Like when he goes to the 4 chord, instead of me doing this, I'm going to go. I'm going to focus on the higher extensions on those chords to keep it from getting muddy. You know, if me and him are both playing the same thing, it's canceling each other out. So if he goes, that's why when we set up this high-tech camera and audio equipment earlier, that took hours, and we you can tell by the results. So when me and Patrick sat down here, I said, Patrick, switch chairs with me so I can sit on the right. I've always been on the right-hand side of the stage my entire life, so I can see what the other guitar players and bass players are doing with their left hand. So if I see Patrick going low, I'm going high. If I see him go high, I'm going low. That's a basic rule for that. You know, I mean, not every time, but a lot of times I'm wanting to, go in a different sonic territory than the other guitar players going, right?
Yeah, that's
really interesting. Because I just realized that like growing up playing with the band for years and years, played as a trio, I was always left side, so I could always cue and everyone could always see where I was going. Because being a trio too, you have to really do things on the fly, very quickly but when we added a 4th member, I moved over to this side. Well, one, realistic, but also being able to cue from here. But also it shows the level of that. It's also, whatever, a dozen years ago moving to Nashville. of having guys who communicate where I would, you shoot them the number. Like, here, it's coming to a 4. It's a quick 4. It goes 2, 6, 5, like there. I've never actually lived in Nashville this long. How do you signal the 6? I've been doing this one. And yell 6.
Yeah. But I mean, totally. That's hey, folks, these are the things that they're not going to teach you in music school. Okay?
Absolutely, but I mean that was one figure. I'm so glad we touched on that. I mean, really, and seriously, it is that thing of because it is, as weird as it is now, music is a social activity.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. I mean, it is really fun just to sit in your room and play all day, and it's literally what I did all day today.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this for 30 years.
It's fun to play with somebody else.
But it's the goal is to be with somebody else, and also when these little things make it so much more enjoyable. Like I said, like Guthrie was saying about playing guitars, playing these parts, it doesn't make it sound bigger. It just makes each part sound smaller. So that's one thing I really dig about playing with Guthrie. We'd sit in because we always sort of instinctually know that if I know there's a groove thing that I've got to be kind of concentrating on while I'm singing, he is not going to play that. He's not going to get in the way there. He's going to go apart in accent.
If Patrick's doing this, I'm going to go,
And that also, you see me like I'm playing the straight pattern. The minute he's doing the slides, I start to react to that too. And you can put these little simple rhythmic things that you can't do if we're just blasting like that. Like I can't hear him. And that's
which as soon as somebody starts doing what he just did, I pretty much shut down. It's like having a conversation with somebody and them just screaming at you the whole time. I go, hey man, I guess I'm gonna go to the house.
It's not a conversation.
It's the same with music. If somebody does that, all night long, I just usually at this point in my life, I put my guitar down and go to the bar and have a cold. Because
it's not a plan. I mean, let's not just that.
Because I can't add anything to that at that point. I'm just amplifying the yelling. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And so I want to. We want to play with people that have the dynamics and the control to be able to put nice parts together. And really accompany somebody. Like we didn't do it a whole lot this time, but if like for a minute there, we really brought it down. And Patrick played softer, and I got softer, and man, that's when the good stuff happens because you're creating some space, right?
Absolutely. And that's
really,
I'm sorry, I'm talking over you talking about the conversation. So thank you.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I was just going to say. I've really enjoyed your musical conversation, but also your friendship conversation and commentary on how to play well together. I mean, didn't we get graded on that in kindergarten? Plays well with others. Kind of thing, but you guys do play very well together, and I want to close out our little show with some more music. But before we do that, I wanted to make sure everybody knows that we're here with Guthrie Trapp and Patrick Sweany. But Guthrie is the one that teaches country Nashville guitar at Artist Works, and you're welcome to join us at any time. And he teaches a lot of the things that he's talking about today on electric guitar, but you can play acoustic guitar too, and he will still teach you, trust me, on any instrument. Right, Guthrie?
Yeah, I like to add too that I know it is geared towards country music, and I love that style. But I will say that a lot of the fundamentals that I cover in the curriculum at Artist Works can be applied to any style of music. And so, I love country music, and it is definitely geared towards that. But I think my strengths are in all categories of American roots music. And so these concepts are the way to, to take this fingerboard and really be able to, cover it from one end to the other. Yeah. I use the things that I learned when I was a kid that changed my life on the guitar, so.
Well, and you're a great teacher, and your students absolutely love you. We get a lot of compliments, and if we had enough time, we talk about the time the guy tried to pay you for the discount he got at Christmas. But
yeah, right.
How about that for an endorsement?
I thought it was a big big drug deal going down or something. But anyway, it wasn't. It wasn't. I just saw cash changing hands, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
I would be involved. He's not.
Right.
We're business partners, you understand.
All right.
Play something for me, Guthrie.
Okay, sounds good.
Click your little button.
I'm going to switch us back over to our performance mode here. All right.
Do that make me a palette?
Yeah, what key do you like to do that in?
Is that the C cool?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
We're going to do Make Me a Palette on the Floor. I think probably heard this first on a Doc Watson record, and he said it was a Mississippi John Hurt song, and I love Mississippi John Hurt. And he was sort of the blues guy that really made me want to be a finger-picking kind of blues guy.
Oh, cool.
So, all right. So, Make Me a Palette on the Floor. Don't you let my good girl catch you here. Don't you let my good girl catch you here. Lord, she might shoot you, cut and stomp you too. Ain't no telling all that she might do. Going up the country and my time ain't long. Going up the country and my time ain't long. Going up the country and my time ain't long. Going up the country, count the days I'm gone. Going up the country to the sleet and snow. Going up the country through that sleet and snow. Yeah, I'm going up the country through that sleet and snow. Going up the country no further I may go. How far you go? Lay down, pallet on your floor. Take me down, the pallet on your floor. Well, honey, make it down, make it soft and low. Make it so your man will never know. Make it so your man will never know. Make it so your man will never know. Well, honey, make it down, make it soft and low. Make it so your man will never know. Yeah. One more, come on.
down a pallet on your floor. Make me down a pallet on your floor. Honey, make it down, make it soft and low. Make me a pallet on your floor.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice, man. I like the minor.
Yeah, that's my holdout lick.
That's great, man.
That's
I
not
love
me
that.
stepping out.
All right, let's switch back over here to conversation mode, and we'll say goodbye to the nice folks here.
Yeah.
Works. And
Thank you for doing that, Guthrie.
And our head honcho,
I really appreciate it. That was
thank you so much.
And
what a wonderful hour and 10 minutes. Patrick, thank you so much.
thank you. I'm so honored to get to do this and get to talk about this stuff. Like even with, live streaming gigs, of being able to like really talk about these little special secrets is so fun for me. So thank you. I really can't. I enjoy it so much.
Every time we do these things, I always end up learning something myself.
Good.
Indeed.
I'm always learning something, like something that he might have done, or just that little minor trick, or that little
like that gig I yelled at. I was the lick I yelled at. Get out the goon moan.
What are you doing?
I've been trying to learn that lick, but he only played it like once. So I played that song to see it, and I was just like, got excited.
Well, hey, thanks so much, guys. Don't forget to follow me and Patrick on our social media machines, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel, which is always, I'm giving little teasers to promote Artist Works on there. Artist Works, all that stuff. Just check us out, folks. We want to help, and
thank you. We really do. We want to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you, Guthrie Trapp and Patrick Sweany, for a wonderful. I know you need help. I know you need help.
Okay, guys.
I know it firsthand. Thank you, Guthrie. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And you always bring a wonderful guest. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Looking forward to the next one. We'll see y'all soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.